Hello students, I'd like to spend a little time discussing our project for our auditing class, which deals with Apollo shoes. So this is the week 1 assignment for our project, and as you can see, it is only the planning section from Apollo shoes. Now, in the content, if you go back to course documents, you will see in the course documents there is an Excel spreadsheet, and then there's also a PDF document. Now I already have those open, but this is where you go under course documents to find these. So let's go look at our PDF. Now you'll notice this PDF has 161 pages. You will need to go through all of this before the end of the course. But for week 1, we will just get through about the first, I think it's about 55 pages of this. It's not all content that you read, but we're going to look through some of this together. So here's the cover page, acknowledgments, some instructions. I would recommend reading through the instructions, kind of what they have in mind. In this exercise, you are supposed to have been a field auditor for a couple years, and this is your first year as the being in charge of the field audit. So you will be working to supervise the field staff and then reporting back to a senior partner back at the office. So table of contents. Okay, so here we go. We're doing the planning section. So this is the start of the planning section, and then these are the instructions to you on this, and you can see they've structured it in the form of an email. So read through your instructions of what's expected of you. Here's minutes from the audit committee of Apollo shoes. So this is their meeting to discuss the audit, and you'll want to read through that and get some information. Here's some more emails. Here's a letter that Apollo has sent to their shareholders. You'll want to read through that and see what they're telling their shareholders. Then here is a copy of the 10K. This is reporting to the SEC. So Apollo Shoes is publicly traded. So the Securities and Exchange Commission, or the SEC, has oversight over them. So this is their 10K. This is like their, it's like an IRS 1040 to the IRS. It's just the reporting form. So there's all kinds of information here. I'm not going to read it to you, but you can go through and see what's been reported there. The next big piece of information, let's see, is going to be the previous auditor's report, and it's the report on the 2016. So this is the previous years. You are auditing 2017. So you're a new audit firm taking over, so this would have been the previous auditor, their report. Then board of directors, corporate officers. We're getting close to some a little more relevant information here. Some information on some certifications, org chart, more emails from the internal auditor. So you're going to want to read through all of that. Here is the Accounting and Control Procedures Manual. So you're definitely going to want to know this, especially when we get to the internal control section in week 2. And okay, minutes from the board of directors. Here are the minutes for the January 17 meeting. Then here's minutes from the June 17 meeting. And then here are minutes for the January 18 meeting. So 2 meetings in 2017 and then 1 in early 18. You are definitely going to need to read through those because you will use them in your assignment for week 1. Okay, and then we get down here to a pre-closing trial balance as of December 31st, 2017. So this is the year you're auditing. So these are the unaudited numbers for 17. And you can see there's the account number, the account description, and then the balance, whether it's a debit or a credit balance. Then, okay, so it's 2 pages. Then we have the pre-closing trial balance audited, okay, from December 31st, 16. So you have all the numbers that have been audited for 16 plus the unaudited for 17. And again, there's 2 pages here. And then there is more information here with instructions from your boss as to what you need to do. And then we are, I think, almost at the bottom here. Okay, so then that gets everything for the planning section, and then we get into internal control. So when you get to internal control, you can stop. That comes for next week. So let's look at our spreadsheet. So this is the spreadsheet that you download. All of your work will be done in this spreadsheet. So there are quite a few tabs. If you right click here on this little arrow, you can see all the various tabs that you're going to do. And the very first one is kind of the summary tab with all the assignments. So we are going to be doing the planning section this week. So internal control is week 2. All these other sections are future weeks. So all we have to worry about here is the planning section. And this would be a template that your accounting firm uses with all your audits. Now, we are not going to do the engagement letter. We are not going to do the staffing memo. We are not to do these. And then I'm going to take the liberty as the instructor and say we're not going to do the common size balance sheet or income statement. So you can skip those. So these are the various tabs that you need to complete. So if you right click here, you can see here are all the tabs. So the very first one is the general planning, and you will go through. Now, for some reason, when you download these are all merged. So I'm going to highlight those, click the merge button. So now as you work through these, you can come in and put in your responses that you initial off. This is just something a real auditor would do. As you work through them, you can put the work papers and your initials that you've done them. So just so you get a feel for what a real auditor would do. So next you're going to come to the relevant matters from the minutes, and I've already filled in the first one. So you're going to have 3 sets of minutes. The first one is the January of 17 minutes. So you're going to read through that, come up with anything that you think is relevant to the audit, and then what you would do. Well, the first thing I found was that the chairman and president CEO is a new hire, so you might want to investigate his background. Is he qualified to run a company? So then once you've gone through and found everything you think is relevant and then what you would actually do in the audit for the January meeting, then you would start with the June 17th meeting, go through all that, and then the January 18th meeting. So just review those. Get ready to plan. What do I need to do? What do I need to look at in this audit? Then you're going to have a balance sheet. So you're going to have the audited 16. So we go back to our trial balance from 16, the very first account, 10-100 cash on hand, 1987.28. 1987.28. So that's the audited. Then you go back here and come up to the unaudited 17, cash on hand, 10-100. It's 2275.23. And that's the number here. We are not going to do adjustments. The adjustments would come later in the audit. Right now you're just filling in the first step, the audited for 16 numbers, and then you'll need to fill in all the assets, then fill in all the liabilities, all the owner's equity, and like any good balance sheet, it should balance. You will also use those numbers to then come do an income statement. You'll have to know the revenue accounts, cost of goods sold accounts, operating accounts, and then any other income or expense section. Then you will do the cash flow. Then the common size I said not to worry about. And then you'll have some ratios. So you may have to look up in one of your previous texts how to calculate these ratios and fill them in using the 16 numbers that are audited. Then you're going to do it for the 17 unaudited numbers. And then what is the percentage change in those ratios? Again, it's a percentage change. So you'll have all of these. So that is your assignment for week 1. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to email me or to shoot me or pick up the phone and call me. You can even come back into D2L under our discussions. There is a virtual office. You can post your questions here so that the others in the class can see the questions, because if you have a question about it, more than likely somebody else is as well. So good luck, and again, do not hesitate to reach out to me. The project is not easy, and I'm here as a resource. So good luck.